Do you think some of the best relationships are the best friendships?
Look, I definitely, there's a movement afoot that I subscribe to, that we have for some reason lionized romantic relationships, that they are the most important kind of relationship, that if you don't have a good romantic relationship, you're worthless, and we should all aspire for long-term romantic relationships in whatever form they take, right? And I don't think that's true. I've not been successful in romantic relationships. And to the point where the women I've dated have accused me of having commitment issues, what's wrong with you, and I start to believe it because empirically it would appear to be true. And I've come to realize that I just don't think I suffered from the same thing as most of our society, which is gotta get a romantic relationship, gotta make it work, right? And the reality is I don't think that's true. I have some friendships that are better relationships than some of the best romantic relationships some of my friends have. The love, the care, the time, the energy, the sacrifice, the safe spaces, the communication is so incredible. The only thing we don't do is have sex.
I was going to say intimacy, and that's something you can't get from a friend.
And sometimes you even have friends that you can do that.
Friends with benefits.
So you can kind of live a very happy, brilliant, successful, fulfilled, unlonely, friendship-filled life. And if the romance happens, great. But I think that we need to, we've overplayed the importance of long-term romantic relationships, and we've underestimated the value of long-term intimate friendships. And when I say intimate, I don't mean sexual, although some may have that. I mean the ability to say I love you. And when I came to peace with that.
When did you come to peace with that?
Pretty recently. I took the pressure off myself that I have to have a successful romantic relationship. The irony being, it's probably more likely to be successful now, right? Because it's the pressure we apply to ourselves.
I think women feel that way more than men,
perhaps,
by the way.
I mean, say more.
I think there is, so I'll speak from personal experience. I think women have a biological clock, and I think if you want to have a child, there's such an intense pressure to meet someone. Now, if you let that go and you're like, actually, I don't care if I have children, and that doesn't bother me at all, then I think there's a lot more freedom. I have so many friends that feel that way, and they feel very liberated in the entire thing. I also think there's a huge social pressure for women to have everything done by a certain age, now more so than ever. Whereas I think kind of men don't have that. Men can kind of just keep going and go, well, if I meet somebody in my late 40s and I decide to have a child, I can do that. A woman doesn't have that option.
So let me just have some fun here. Or maybe we are so lucky to live in this modern day that we can expand the definition of what it means, of how we should have a family and how we can have a child. I know multiple women who got to the point where they realized, I'm not going to meet somebody who I want to marry. I'm going to do it myself. And they are very happy single mothers who rely on friends and family to raise this kid. They're not alone. I know people who had kids with their best friend where they don't want to get married and they love each other, but it's not that kind of relationship. But they decided, you wanted a kid, I wanted a kid. I have a friend who came to me recently and asked me if I would be the father for her kid with no strings attached, which was an honor to be asked. But my point is that I think...
Can I ask what you said?
I thought about it for a while, and as I was so flattered, but I said no, because for many, many reasons. But I said no. And she wasn't mad at me. But I think we live in this magical time where what relationships look like and how to raise a family it's not 1950.
It's not, but I don't think we're still there yet.
I don't think we're there.
I agree with you.
I don't think we're there. And it takes... But
would you do that? Do you want children?
Do I want children? The answer is, I don't have an intense hankering to have children. If I fall in love with somebody so madly that we want that lifestyle, then sure. But I don't want to be with someone just to have children.
No, but I also think I don't think many people just want to be with someone to have a child.
Oh, I would beg to differ. I've dated a couple of them.
Okay. I think many women would like to have a child with someone that they are completely in love with.
Yeah. By the way, I would hope so.
Yeah, then that's my perspective.
I mean, look, I think it sounds cold because we're talking about children and, you know, this biological need and this desire that someone has. The irony is, and you said it, which is, let me talk about it differently, right? So it doesn't sound as cold. I recently had the magical opportunity to go on safari in Kenya. And our first day out, I said to the guide, we're going to do this a little differently than you're probably used to doing it. I said, if you hear over the radio that somebody saw a rhino, I want you to drive in the opposite direction. I said, the experience I have no agenda. I said, I know everybody's supposed to see the big five. The problem with if you come in with an agenda, you come in with a checklist, that if I saw 4 out of the 5 and I just didn't see a lion, I would feel that this was a failure. I would feel like I missed something, that I didn't see something, even though I saw 4 out of the 5 big 5. I said, I don't want that feeling. I said, so my mindset is, I would rather be by myself, alone, in the vastness of the Masai Mara, than rushing with a pair of binoculars with 30 other trucks trying to see something in the distance to say I saw it. This is the experience I choose to have. Just please drive in the opposite direction every single time. Only one time we didn't, right? Only one time we're like, just go. But every other time, literally, everything was going that way. We went in the opposite direction. Everything. And I was at peace. I was at peace. We were all at peace. We made the decision together that we just wanted to hang out, and whatever we saw. And the experience we're going to have is magical no matter what. We ended up seeing a leopard up close, 2 cheetahs up close, a lion that walked right in front of our Range Rover or Land Rover, actually a Toyota, walked literally right in front of us by ourselves. We tracked it by ourselves. Ended up seeing a herd of over 100 elephant walk right past us with 20 babies. We saw a buffalo. There's only 35 rhino in the whole Masai Mara. We saw 3 of them, and one of them had a baby and walked right in front of our car. And we planned to see nothing. And we kept joking that the only reason we saw everything is because we were happy seeing nothing.
You weren't looking for it directly.
I wasn't looking for it directly. And I know it's easier said than done. I know, but it's so hackneyed. It's almost a punchline. Like when you talk to people who find the perfect person, they almost always say, I wasn't looking.
Oh, totally. Yeah, always.
It's like a punchline, right? And I think there is a sense of letting go and accepting that my life is good and I love my life, even if I don't get everything on the checklist. But if I live my life with a checklist, I'll always be disappointed. Like, I don't believe in bucket lists. Like, I live my life with a reverse bucket list. Like, people have a bucket list of all the things they want to do in a life. And if you check off 70% of that list, you will only see the last 30% of the things you didn't do. And you will think your life a disappointment. A reverse bucket list is there is no list. I just keep adding to the insane stuff that I've got to do, the people I've got to meet. I just keep adding to it. And every day I just feel richer and richer and richer. I feel like I'm missing nothing. And are there things I want to do that I'll probably never get to do? Of course. But are there things that I've done that I never even dreamed of doing that happened? Yes. So I know it's easier said than done. I cannot relate to the biological clock. I cannot relate. And I know what I'm saying.
I just had to put that in there because I feel like so many women are going to be screaming at this podcast.
Oh, the people are so mad at me right now. I've lost all my female followers. I understand what I'm saying is a very male, unbiological perspective.
No, but I do agree with the term of not having this perfect picture and this idealistic life that we all hope for. Like, I actually don't agree
And
with
trying
that.
to architect it.
Yeah, I don't
The
believe in
picture
that
is
either.
fine. The picture is fine. We all have pictures. To say we don't is nonsense, right? We all have pictures.
Well, I feel like when you do, you're let down.
But the attempt to try to architect it is the problem. You know, there's a husband over in those woods. Quick, take the Land Rover over there. Ah, damn it, missed it. You know, try over there, quick, rush.
He's mating with someone else.
He's mating with somebody else. Ah, you know, it's like, this is why let's bring it all the way back to friendship, right? This is why I think investing in friendship is more valuable than that, because the number of people who, after 3 or 4 years of intense friendship, they look at each other and go, why aren't we dating? Like, we've gone through each other's breakups so many times. We're always there for each other. We love each other. We care about each other. Why aren't we dating? And the number of people I know who ended up marrying their best friend is pretty high.
That's pretty awesome, right?
You know? And so investing in friendship has lower stakes because it's not on the image. It's not on the checklist. It's not on the fantasy. It's literally not on there, which is a different problem, right? And so the stakes are low. And so I think invest in friendship. Help your friends find love. Goes back to that service orientation. I have a friend, she's desperate to find a husband and have kids. I'm going to help her. Why don't we do that? You know?
It's a different purpose as
well, It's a different
right?
purpose. And I think perhaps, just perhaps, if we change strategy, and you have to tell me I'm full of shit or not, because again, biology and hormones, I can't, you know.
I think it depends. I think I agree, but I also believe that if something is inherently important to someone, so if a woman's listening to this and she's thinking, well, I'd love to have a child.
Yeah.
It can be really hard to let that go. And now I do think we've got so much more autonomy.
I didn't say let it go. I said change strategy. Change strategy.
Change strategy, but you also have to be comfortable with the concept of letting it go.
That it would be okay.
Yeah, you have to be comfortable with that.
I think that's true.
It's really important.
That would be okay. I can be disappointed, but I can go through the acceptance that if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. Mm-hmm. But my goal is to live a happy life despite that. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair, right?
I think that's fair. I think that's totally fair. I think we have more autonomy now than we ever did. So I think we can do a lot more.
We can edit out all the stuff that I said that people get mad at.
No, they won't. I had to put that in as a woman.